How's it going, everyone? And as always, welcome back to Continues to Tick. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Continues to Tick. We have made it. We have made it to $10,000 in portfolio size. And it's a nice milestone to reach, for sure. You know, the journey's going to be long. Technically, it's infinite. Well, hello, guys. Here we are now finally reaching the 50K mark. And I must say, a lot has changed since the start of this all. When I first started this portfolio, I was 24 years old. I'm about to turn 27 later this year. And COVID was in full force at that time. And now it appears we're learning to live with it now. I also had about a little over 1 year in the workforce, so still in its infancy, and now I have 3 years doing this working thing. And also at that time I hadn't started grad school, nor would a year 2020 Jesse ever believe it if his future self told him he would be starting grad school. So again, in short, we can say a lot has changed. But let me just take this small moment here as a reminder. Utilize your time. Utilize your time. Utilize your time. Let me ask you, do you have control of your time, or does time have a hold of you? Do you just let life happen, or do you steer your life where you want it to be? You see, time will happen, and it'll happen regardless of our goals, regardless of our wants, regardless of our dreams. It happens despite the status of our health, despite the love we share or have for others, despite what we believe we deserve, despite being on this earth or not. Life can be ruthless, and time is the same way. I only want to say this to show that because time happens and life passes right before our eyes, if we have a goal, a dream, or ambitions, we need to go for it. We really need to. We really need to. The clock keeps ticking. Every day that passes is another day you'll never get back. If there is something out there that is calling you, then take that risk. If there is something you want, set yourself up. Take the time to set up that framework and just do it. Today, start. Bet on yourself. And sure, there can be barriers that get in the way. And there are many things we no longer may be able to accomplish due to multiple reasons. Maybe resources, age, or maybe just the current state or moment you are in life. And it would be foolish to say there isn't. But change it up a bit. You can do that. Adjust your goal. You can do that. Adjust your mission. That's also possible. And if it is something that is relevant and achievable and you desire, maybe it's in reach but just too far away at the moment. But with some hard work and the utilization of time, steer that way. Strive for it. Every day. Every single day. Think about it. But most importantly, you have to just start. And secondly, remain consistent. Don't let time and life take you wherever it wants. Give it framework. You have control. Take control. And you'd be surprised what you can accomplish. It took a while, and it took patience for sure. And it took framework, and of course it took time. But here we are now, at half of $100,000 dividend portfolio. The 50K mark. And we will continue onwards. I won't stop. Moving slowly and safely, for sure, but still on track to hit a multi-million-dollar dividend portfolio by my age of 50. Set clear goals. Set clear goals. Go for it. You can also do this. And as a gentle reminder, the journey will continue. This channel will continue. We haven't faltered on an upload since the start of this YouTube channel, back in August of 2020. And fun fact, this is actually my 88th video. So let's keep going. And don't forget to join the journey by subscribing to the channel. We got time and a long way to go still, but we're going to continue to have fun with it. And as a reminder also, for those that have been here for a while or are new, with the Milestone video comes a full portfolio overview, where I discuss my portfolio in more depth than in my normal videos. I'll be sharing with you my weekly portfolio review, like we always do, but also given that we have now hit the 50K dividend portfolio mark, I'll be sharing with you when I started this dividend portfolio, my ultimate goal of this dividend portfolio, along with my current game plan and strategy, in terms of how much I fund it and how often, along with my sector allocations and percentages. Then we'll also go into the number of dividend holdings that I have in my portfolio. I mean, they're all dividend holdings, but I'll give you the number of how many I actually hold. And then I'll also share with you my dividends portfolio yield, along with the expense ratio. And last, but also the most important one, I think the one we all mostly care about, is how much currently does a 50,000 dividend portfolio pay me in dividends. So as you can see, we got a lot of ground to cover. So let's just keep going here. So here we are currently. I mean, given it was a great week last week in terms of the markets, and we haven't had one in a while, we actually surpassed the 50K mark, currently sitting at $51,293.61. And this current state of the portfolio is with a total return of the portfolio of 33.12%. And this reflects as a total gain of $7,095.98. And this includes market gain here of $5,932.02 and total earned dividends of $1,163.96. And we can just go ahead and click on the total earned dividends here, with the most being paid out from real estate, then consumer staples, followed by utilities, and so on and so forth. And it actually ends with consumer discretionary. And of course, this is on the all-time charts, but just as I was saying, last week, we had a nice overall market performance. It was the first positive week in a while, as we saw a return of 3.42%, equating to a total gain of $1,692.33. And now just going back to the all-time charts here. So just to share a little recap of this portfolio, I started it on July 20th of the year 2020. That is the origination of this dividend portfolio. And as you can see here, that is my very first deposit. Put $650 down. But that is when this all started. The YouTube channel came a little later in August of 2020 when I realized, hey, I should probably document this. I'm going to be in it for a while. Let's go ahead and just show the journey. Let's just show what story it can tell. And ever since then, I decided to start systematically investing, funneling the portfolio every single week. I'm fortunate enough to have a really solid career working as a registered nurse. And, it does pay well. And I'm very fortunate to be in this position. So because of that, I do funnel it, pretty rapidly. Every single week, I deposit $500 into this portfolio, equating to about $2,000 a month. You multiply that by 52 weeks in a year. And every single year, I'm putting in $26,000 into this dividend portfolio. I also happen to work for the state of California. So at the same time, I'm also building up a pension in the background. But considering that's something I really can't control, I wanted to ultimately build and find an investing opportunity, in which is one that I actually can control. And that's when I found dividend investing. Before this, I've played with crypto, I've played with penny stocks, I've played with growth stocks. And ultimately, just for my lifestyle, investing for dividends is so low maintenance. And in my personal opinion, lower risk. I mean, I'm actually already getting paid a return. I don't have to necessarily wait for capital appreciation and the selling of a stock, with normal growth investing. But that's not a knock against growth investing or any type of investing when you buy low and sell high. This is just personally an investing strategy that I felt mostly works for my lifestyle. I just feel like I have so many other things in my life to worry about that I don't want investing to be one of them. So as I continue to go about my life, I continue to let this funnel in the background. Every single week, systematically investing here on M1 Finance. And all I do is just come in here and take a look at how it's doing. But I can backtrack and say that a lot of the work that I did put in was actually up front. That's when I did a lot of research into building out this portfolio. A lot of these stocks, they're selected for a reason. And ultimately, I'm riding with them. And I haven't sold. I really tried to avoid selling. All I'm doing is just buying and buying and buying over time. And we'll see how that strategy continues to play out. I mean, as I've said in my other videos before, if I really do have to sell, I will. But otherwise, for the most part, that's my strategy. And so far, no pun intended, it's been paying dividends. But now moving onwards in the topics of the video. Here we are in the sector allocations and percentages section. You can take a look here. I mean, just starting off with real estate, it's 13% of my dividend portfolio. But if you're curious and you want to take a look at each of these in detail, for example, you want to click on my tech sector, and you want to see that in here I hold Nvidia, I hold Apple, I hold Visa, for example. And these are the percentage allocations for all of them. For example, Nvidia has 28% of the tech sector. But in actuality, when you look a little closer, it's been booming so hard that it's actually at an actual percentage of 30.3%. But if you're curious and you want to take a look at a lot of this portfolio in detail, and more detail that, I technically have time for to show on this video, or it'll drag out, there'll be a link in my description box down below to sharing my pie. You just go ahead and click on that. So if that's something you're interested in, go for it. But otherwise, we move forward and onward with the video. So here we are, still in the Jesse's cash flow portfolio. Now moving forward into a little bit more of the statistics. As you can see here, we hold 51 holdings. I've said it before in a Milestone video, but I've kind of had 51 holdings from the beginning. I wasn't too worried about the number of holdings from the jump, just because I knew over time eventually. My goal is to have $1 million portfolio. And once you're at that level, having 51 holdings really doesn't look that bad. And if you see here, my dividend yield is currently 2.695%. And that's okay with me. That's about where I want it to be. Anywhere between 2.6, 2.7, and 3.0, 3.1. Anywhere in between there I'm totally comfortable with. And then as for my expense ratio, it's 0.01%. So now, it's time to move onward to the part of the video where most people are actually excited to see, is to see exactly how much this dividend portfolio is actually paying me in dividends at the size of $50,000. So let's take a look. So as you can see here, we're in the Jesse's cash flow portfolio, just the same as on M1 Finance, currently at $51,293.61. So this Div Tracker app is just one I got from the App Store. I'm not affiliated with it by any means, but it is one that I got kind of from the beginning, and I've just been rolling with it ever since. But it's a pretty good one. You do have to put everything in manually still, but it's pretty accurate, and it's pretty nice in terms of how it's laid out in the details and the simplicity of use. And actually, if I just back out for a second, you can see that the cost basis on M1 Finance is the same. It's $45,345.84, and it's roughly about the same on the Div Tracker, saying I invested $45,345.37. And you can see here in the composition, it tells you, VIG holds a 10.3% of my overall portfolio, and SPYD holds 9.3%, and it declines from there. And now actually going to the annual dividend income. Here we are. Currently with this dividend portfolio size of $51,000, we're getting an annual dividend income of $1,382.43. On a monthly basis, we're getting $115.20 of dividends. And if you want to break it down on a daily, we get $3.79. And there's a little bit of a difference here. The Div Tracker is saying my dividend portfolio's yield is 3.04%, and M1 Finance said it was about 2.69%. That's totally okay with me. There's a little discrepancy there, but the way I typically see it is, as long as it's anywhere in between those two numbers, I'm still totally okay with it. I'm not going to retire anytime soon, so maybe as I get closer to retirement, maybe I'll adjust that yield a little bit. But as for right now, it's on the safer side of the yield, and that actually makes me feel better currently. And it's telling me here my top 3 dividend payers, SPYD, VIG, and O, and that's no surprise. And then here we are with my currently set goal of currently $2,000. So we're 69% reached. And it says down below, if you invested $20,000 more at my portfolio's yield, I'd reach this goal. So we still got a ways to go, seeing that we are quite a ways away. I'll likely make another video once we hit the $1,500 in dividend incomes mark. Just because the journey's so long, might as well recognize some steps and some little milestones along the way. So that's that. And we made it through those topics. And that's going to be it for this week's video. It does make me happy to see that we finally hit the $50,000 dividend portfolio goal. It's one of the milestones I've been waiting for ever since the beginning of this portfolio, ever since I started it. And at that point in time, it seems so far away. I know I invest quite rapidly, and you would think that the pace would be quick, but sometimes it still doesn't feel that way. Sometimes you have this plan and you just have to let time continue to pass, and you have to just keep steering in the direction that you want to be in. My next goal is 60, then 70, 80, 90,000. The $100,000 dividend portfolio goal, that'll be awesome. That'll be really awesome to see. And hopefully by then, we'll also have 1,000 YouTube subscribers. I was kind of in my mind setting up this little, this little challenge for myself, I guess you can say. I wasn't sure whether I'd get 1,000 YouTube subscribers first or hit the $50,000 dividend portfolio first. But as you can see here, YouTube has been slowing down a little bit for me, and that's totally okay. But we actually did hit the 50,000 dividend portfolio goal before we did hit 1,000 YouTube subscribers. But if you've joined this journey and you've been here for a while, you can see we've been at it for a while. And I appreciate your guys' support. And here we are at 50K. And hopefully you'll stick around for 100, and then 200, 300, 500,000. I'm really not planning to stop this journey, stop this YouTube series anytime soon. I'm currently 26 years old. I'll be 27 later this year. My realistic age of retirement is 50, and I won't be stopping until then, so we got a lot of time. And enough with that ramble out the way. We've made it through 7 days And because of that, we have a high chance of making it through another 7. And as always, I'll be here. And as always, take care.